Welcome to Food, Wine, and Whiskey, a podcast about having fun conversations on tasty dishes, vinos, and spirits from around the world. Rob is your host. He is an avid home chef, WSET Level 2 award in wine, and a whiskey drinker and collector. Time to set the table. Here's Rob.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for stopping by. Going to have a fun conversation today. We have an event happening here in Houston that I thought would be fun to have a conversation with the folks who are putting on this event, as well as the Italian Chamber of Commerce, who is also part of hosting and helping put on this event. So today we have the Mediterranean Aperitivo Project in town, and they've been nice enough to come by and have a conversation so we can understand kind of what they're doing, what this is about, what's the message they want to get out to us here in the States and around the globe for that matter. So joining me on this episode, we have Pauline and we have Valentino, and they're from the Mediterranean Project. And then we also have from the Italian Chamber of Commerce, Maurizio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Rob, for being here.
Thank you for coming on. Thank both of you for coming on. I want to start by, people are going, well, what is an aperitivo to begin with? Mediterranean Aperitivo. What is this we're talking about, and why are you trying to spread the word of that more people should be taking part in this?
Okay, so hi, thank you for coming here, and it's a pleasure to be here in Houston. So the Mediterranean Aperitivo is, as like the president of the Consorzio Vermouth di Torino, Roberto Bava, wants to say, we are not here like to promote a product. Rather, we are here to promote a concept, the one of the Mediterranean Aperitivo. So aperitivo, I don't know if you're familiar with Latin, it comes from the word aperire, which means to open, to prepare your stomach before a meal. So in this case, we want you to get ready for your meal with 4 products. So we have Vermouth di Torino PGI, Pecorino Toscano PDO, lemons from the Amalfi Coast PGI, and olives from Greece, especially from Western Greece. So these 4 products join together and they create the experience of the Mediterranean Aperitivo, which is an healthy way to enjoy a drink on your own, with friends, family, etc. So usually aperitivo, aperire, so we have this moment before an actual meal. You might be familiar with the Mediterranean diet, so it means, of course, carbs, pasta, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, fish, meat, etc. The Mediterranean, the aperitivo is going to prepare you, comes before the actual meal. So we are here in Houston today in order to let our guests at the seminar we are going to hold at the Ready Room. We are going to promote this concept to present these products. So again, Vermouth di Torino, Pecorino Toscano cheese, lemons from Amalfi Coast, and olives, so that we hope they can embrace this culture and embrace also this culture of the Mediterranean Aperitivo.
Because there's big benefits to it. I think
Yes.
A lot of people have heard about the Mediterranean diet and the benefits of this. I just recently read a story and saw that, the Mediterranean diet, the folks who partake in this, they're the healthiest. They live the longest. And so I agree that it should be something that more Americans, more people around the globe should be exploring. And by the way, it's absolutely delicious food. I have a friend from Lebanon who, when we get together, that's the type of meals we always have. And absolutely delicious food. Really, really enjoy it. So it's not like, people hear diet and they think you have to give something up to gain something as it being, productive for you. With the Mediterranean diet, you're eating delicious food, but the benefits are still so good to you. But back to the aperitivo, when me as an American, we hear aperitivo, you might think appetizer, and you're mentioning before the meal. Here in the States, I'll just be honest, us Americans, we have an appetizer just to have an appetizer. There's no benefit to it. There's actually a benefit to this drink that you guys are, that you all have in your culture that's just, it's not something that you even think about. It's just something that the culture does automatically.
Yeah, I'm thank you for having us here.
Yes, absolutely.
I Aperitivo is translated in America with happy hour, right? Which means...
See, I didn't know that. I was thinking appetizer, but
right.
It's happy hour.
It's actually happy hour. So it's a moment where, if you go into a bar here in Miami, where I'm from, where I live at the moment, usually you're going to get a discounted item, or you have a 2x1, or oysters and cocktails for $10, right? And that's the idea of what an Italian aperitivo should be. Aperitivo for Europe, Italy in per se, it's almost like a state of mind. It's more like a way of living. We call it in Italy the dolce vita, for example. It's a moment of conviviality. It's a moment where you hang out with friends and you don't really pay attention of what's in front of you in terms of like drinks and food, but it's who you are. Then obviously drinks are usually paired with food. You usually get a glass of vermouth, or a cocktail based with vermouth, or a glass of wine, or also beer, and that comes automatically without even asking the bartender, with Parmesan cheese, with olives, with pecorino, and anything else that is being made at the moment.
You threw me for a little bit of a loop there. Beer can be included.
Yes, there is no specific rule.
Okay. See, when I thought aperitivo, here's what I thought. It might be like a Negroni or something like that.
Which is perfect. I mean, you're 100% right. Like, just a step back. The aperitivo in Italy started in the 1800s. And that was a moment where we were producing mostly vermouth. The king of Italy was drinking vermouth. The biggest production and the producers in Italy were doing vermouth. Turin was the capital of Italy. So everything was happening around the vermouth. So obviously you go into the bar, a cafe, what was called back in the days, and you had a glass of vermouth. So that became our drink of choice for the aperitivo. And keep in mind that was a moment where you finish it to work around 5 p.m., because Italians finish to work at 5 p.m., no later than that. You don't want to go back home so fast. So you stop in a bar, you have a couple of drinks with your friends, with your co-worker, a couple of bites, and then you go back home. And that drink is usually a glass of vermouth.
Well, and you're translating that for me to happy hour. I mean, just completely makes perfect sense now. Now I get it more so than I did thinking it was a specific type of drink. It's more of an event than it is you have to drink something specifically.
Right,
It's
exactly.
more the action of what you're doing. You're hanging out, having a little food, and a few little bites.
100%. Now, as you mentioned, the Negroni cocktail, and that's absolutely right, because by drinking vermouth, cocktails have been involved all around the vermouth world. So most of our signature cocktails in Italy, or cocktails that they've been created in Italy, they're based with vermouth. By that, Negroni is what we drink the most, right? Americano cocktails, Sbagliato cocktails, even though the spritz. But doesn't mean that if you're having a glass of wine, you're wrong. It's really up to you. There are no strict rules. There is no rules on timing. You can do an aperitivo
noon on a Saturday?
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Nobody's gonna not serve you a cocktail.
I like that.
Your wife or your husband might be upset.
Or they might join you.
Right, or they might join you.
Yeah.
But you can also opt for like a non-alcoholic aperitivo. You can have, just a tonic water, maybe a juice. And it doesn't have necessarily to be alcohol.
But always, and I think this is, even when you talk about just having wine in Italy or in Europe, there's always food present. Same with an aperitivo.
Automatically. If you sit at the bar, you don't even ask. Okay. Now, there are certain regions that take that very, very serious, like Lombardia, for example, in Milan or in Venice. There are bars that are specifically built around the aperitivo. Think about, from 2000, it almost became like a buffet kind of situation, right? If you go in North Italy, you're having a certain type of food or a certain type of aperitivo. If you go into South Italy, it's a totally different world. I'm from Rome, which is kind of in the mix, in the middle. We are having probably olives and chips, not more than that. By North Italy, like Milan, it's almost a full dinner.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, they bring you like pizza,
Pasta.
I don't know, yes.
So that's probably a longer event too, then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that's usually why you get divorced.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because then you're never going to go back home.
Yeah. Well, I want to dive in deeper. I have a lot of questions about, the products that you're representing on this project. But I do want to bring Maurizio in and talk about the event you all are doing in Houston tonight. I think tomorrow you're going to be in Austin doing the same thing. What is this collaboration with the Italian Chamber of Commerce and this project? What's going on?
It's going on something very unique from our point of view. I was thinking while these guys were talking that this is probably the first time since I've been involved in the chamber, it's been a few years, more than 10 years, that we actually are promoting a moment of the Italian lifestyle instead of just a product or two, or a group of products or a region or something specifically. You, Rob, have been to attended so many of our events. They're all great events, very informative most of the times, with classes and tasting, led by very knowledgeable people. But this time, really, for the first time, we're promoting a moment of our life the way it's lived now in Italy. Let me tell you this little anecdote. Our current consul, always complains that in Houston he cannot find a place to have an Italian aperitivo. He's missing that so much that he said, I'm going to a place for a glass of wine. I would like to have maybe some chips or some nuts and things like that. And I sit down, he says, and I quote him, they always bring the food menu, a full menu. They want me to order an entree or something, but that's not what I want. It's probably 5:30 p.m. I just went out of my office with my wife or some friends, and I would like to have a spritz or maybe a Negroni, since we're talking about Vermouth today, and a few little light bites. But it's not a concept you can commonly find here in Houston in a restaurant. They'd be disappointed. Look at you. You're just ordering a glass of wine and maybe some chips. Isn't it? Why you're here, right?
Yeah.
So today, instead, we're doing. I wish we could do it more often. We're promoting, like I said, this moment of the Mediterranean, I would say, lifestyle. It's not only Italy. I think this is very common in France, in south of France. It's common in Greece. It's common in Spain. All over in the Mediterranean area. And it makes a lot of sense that this project has picked also Greek olives that are very representative of the Mediterranean diet, which is defined anywhere you have extra virgin olive oil as a common ingredient of your diet, you're having Mediterranean diet. Actually, the extra virgin olive oil is the fil rouge of the Mediterranean diet. And we're featuring today other products like Pecorino Toscano, which is very typical cheese from sheep milk, made only in Tuscany and some area of northern Lazio. And what else am I missing? Vermouth di Torino, of course. So again,
Amalfi lemons.
And the Amalfi lemons. How can I forget the Amalfi lemons in Houston, where we have a great Italian restaurant called Amalfi?
Yep,
That's stupid me. So from my point of view as a chamber, like I said, this is a unique moment. I'm very happy that we're doing this today at the Ready Room on White Oaks in a few hours, and tomorrow in Austin downtown at a place called Here Not There. Both of them are very, very nice and unique cocktail bars.
And the event tonight is more for the industry folks. It's to get the bar owners and the people who have restaurants with a bar that might be exposed to what this is, so that they may start offering it in their establishment. Is that what I understand?
That is correct. I would like maybe Valentino say a few words about this. The idea is to present these ingredients as a part of an aperitivo, happy hour kind of event, and the vermouth in particular as not only an ingredient for cocktails and mixology, but also the way it can be tasted and enjoyed by itself.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue, because I think a lot of folks, myself for the longest time, thought vermouth was a mixer. It just went in a cocktail. But I've found out that there's some great vermouths, and there's a range of vermouths. They're not all just dry. They can be sweet. They can be off dry. And so, go ahead, Valentino. Let's talk
100%.
about that.
And like even myself, when I started to be a bartender or mixing cocktail, I didn't pay much attention of the differentiation between a sweet vermouth and a sweet vermouth. Vermouth is wine, right? So, and it has to be treated as a wine. We want to keep it in the fridge once it's open. But I think the most important things is like all the different houses and producers that they're producing the bottle of vermouth, they're producing a different product. So I love to use brown-based spirits with a particular type of vermouth, or maybe if I do a Negroni with white spirit, another type of vermouth. All of them in the category of the sweet vermouth. I think that's something that nobody really talks, even though, and again, from a bartender point of view, right? We don't really know much of the differentiations between vermouth and vermouth. Now, obviously, the biggest category is extra dry, white, and sweet. But then, why choosing that sweet in that particular reason, right? Vermouth was born to be drink on its own, neat, or on the rocks, with ice. I mean, in the 1800s, we didn't have ice back in Italy. So then adding a splash of seltzer, a splash of soda water, that was probably the most typical way to drink vermouth. Then thanks to the American that you guys came in Italy and show us how to mix cocktails, we started to mix cocktail.
Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. We
actually I did not know that.
One of the classic cocktail in Italy is called the Americano, which is
coffee.
The cocktail.
A cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about this. I don't know about this one.
So there is the grandfather of the Italian cocktails is called Milano Torino.
Okay.
AKA Mito, and that's an Italian bitter from Milan and an Italian sweet vermouth from Turin.
Okay.
Equal part. And the legend says that when the Americans came to Italy, they tried the Milano Torino. It was a little bit too bitter for their palate, so they add soda water into it. And that became the Americano cocktail, the American way to drink the Milano Torino.
Did it become popular amongst the Italians?
100%.
Really?
It's still super popular today.
Okay.
Americano cocktail is basically Italian bitter with Italian sweet vermouth and soda water.
Okay, I've never had it, but now I'm curious to try it. It sounds
you should
very,
definitely.
very good.
Yeah, it's
So while we're on the subject, and we know that aperitivos can be a variety of drinks, I don't think a lot of folks, me included, think Italy when I think cocktails. There's the Negroni is the most famous one that I know, or something along that lines. Can you real quickly tell us 2 or 3 other vermouth-based cocktails that you just named the Americano, but a couple others?
From the Americano, there is the evolution to the Negroni, right?
Okay.
Negroni was a gentleman,
the
Count Camillo Negroni, where he asked a splash of gin in his Americano cocktail. There is actually a beautiful documentary going around now on Rai Play, which is an Italian television talking about the history of the Negroni. Super cool.
Okay.
We have the bicicletta, which is the bicycle cocktail.
Okay.
And there's a mix of white wine, an Italian bitter, and soda water. Then we have obviously the spritz.
What is in a spritz? I mean,
spritz is ideally there are two ways to do a spritz. The Venetian spritz, which is using a Venetian Aperitivo liqueur. Now, aperitivo liqueur is another category from the bitter. It's like a less bitter, and prosecco.
Okay, that's it.
Correct.
Is there? I think I've heard where there could be ice in there.
Yeah, 100% ice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now the regional spritz it might get boring 3 hours later.
No. I think a lot of folks. This is curious because I don't, like I said, I'm into food, wine, and whiskey. That's the name of the podcast. But I don't know a lot of these Italian type cocktails. And I love exploring. So hearing these and being able to listen to it back and then start asking for these as I travel and go around to bars, it's going to be something I do.
Now,
so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, Italians, we like to take inspirations from our neighbors, right? Spritz is actually coming from the German, where they were drinking a splash of soda in their white wines during World War One. That usually because the wine that was produced during those days, it wasn't really the best quality ever. So adding a soda water, a splash of soda, that really helped.
Okay.
My grandfather, they're still drinking white wine with a splash of soda today. So
really?
That became really like a way of drinking the table wine, the house wine.
Yeah.
Then adding a splash of an Italian bitter into it, or an Italian aperitivo, into the white wine and soda water, that became the spritz.
Okay.
Spritz basically is a splash of.
Okay.
A spritzer.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A touch of. Then obviously bigger brand, they just became extremely popular with this cocktail, and now mostly is made with sparkling wine such as prosecco and Italian Aperitivo.
So tonight at the event, what are we doing tonight?
So tonight we're gonna talk about the differentiations of vermouth, which is
and you have a really good vermouth here.
100%. They're all made. They're all part of the category of Vermouth di Torino, which is something extremely new and extremely excited. Right now, you can control the Vermouth di Torino is Vermouth di Torino. Before you can make vermouth. I mean, still you can make vermouth everywhere that you want, but Vermouth di Torino, which is the OG of the vermouth, by following certain criteria, you can really pinpoint the production process. Vermouth di Torino has to be made in Piedmont, needs to have a wine that is Italian. The wormwood, the Artemisia, which is the main element of the vermouth, has to be harvested in Piedmont, and the alcohol content has to be between 16 and 22% of ABV.
And this is a DOC.
Exactly.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about what that means, because as we went through the other products that you guys are mentioning, we talked about the PDO, the PGI. Those are designations of quality for the olives and for the Amalfi lemons and for the Pecorino cheese. So those are important for the consumer to know, because it kind of gives you a little information on what you're getting and the quality of the products that you're getting, just like the wines that we drink being DOC or DOCG.
Exactly. So that translates for the vermouth as a PGI, right?
Oh, it's a PGI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and probably I'm wrong, but it doesn't really mean that it's better or worse than other product, right? It really means that there is a process where where everything is coming from. I like to take, for example, the champagne. There are sparkling wine that they are probably good as the champagne. Champagne can be made only in Champagne region, only by that particular type of grape, right? That particular process. In Italy, we have the Franciacorta, which is exactly the same process as a champagne. As a méthode champenois, can be made only in Franciacorta, only that particular type of grape. There are amazing Prosecco, which, they may be even better than Franciacorta, for example, right? But it just doesn't follow the same criteria. So Vermouth di Torino, for me, I don't want to say it's better. I want to say that, it controls a certain process that where everything that is inside the bottle is coming from.
And this product's available in the States?
Most of them are only Pauline at this store.
Yeah, so talking about what will happen tonight, the expectation for tonight. So we are going to have around 12 different brands of Vermouth di Torino.
Oh, really?
Yes, because the main partner of this project is the Consorzio of Vermouth di Torino, led again by Roberto Bava, who's the president. So I managed to gather 12 different brands. They are all distributed in the United States. So we are going to have around 20, even more, different bottles during the seminar. So the seminar will begin talking, in fact, about the importance also of the role of the European Union in safeguarding the 4 products that we are going to discover tonight. So through the PGI and the PDO label. Then we are going to present the partners involved. Then we are going to do a focus on Vermouth di Torino. So Valentino is going to explain the history, the origins, the spices used, the importance of wormwood, and the categories. Because as he said, we don't have just one kind of Vermouth di Torino, but we have different declinations, different typologies, which are the extra dry, bianco, white, and rosso, red.
Okay.
So it's not.
Noticed,
So it's not as when you drink a Sangiovese. You can. I mean, if you are an expert, etc. Many wine master sommelier, they can guess where the wine that they're drinking comes from.
Guessing.
So it's not. So
they know for a fact.
Yeah.
With Vermouth di Torino, a Vermouth di Torino red will not taste the same as another Vermouth di Torino red, because the recipe of the producer, sometimes it's a secret recipe. I mean, it's unique. So when you're drinking on 2 Vermouth di Torino red, they're not going to taste the same, because in one it might be more cloves, another one more lavender, etc. And while doing this project, I was like chatting with a bartender from New York, and we were like figuring out, okay, why when you go to the bar and you ask for like something with gin, they're always asking you, okay, what kind of gin do you want? Okay, I want this one, this one, this one. We might, the fun thing will be like to have a bartender asking you, okay, which kind of Vermouth di Torino do you want? Because every like a brand has a different recipe. So that might be interesting.
So the same drink can be ordered with two different types of vermouth?
No, I mean, you can, it would be great to have, like, to be asked, okay, what typology of vermouth, I mean, which brand of vermouth do you prefer? Do you prefer this one or you prefer this one? This one is more
brand
like...
being different than style, dry or sweet?
Yes.
Okay, because how you use the vermouth in a particular cocktail matters. A dry will go in a certain application, a sweet would go in a different application.
Yes, of course. Do you want to mention, Valentino, maybe just to give you an examples of which cocktails
here I'm
you
used
can
to,
do?
like my wife, she's Hispanic, she orders a margarita, they ask, she's going to go top shelf, I want from the top shelf.
Okay.
Meaning the very best. Still a very good tequila, but very best. And so is that kind of what you're talking about?
So usually I'm talking about like Italy, usually cocktail bars own maybe just one single like brand of Vermouth di Torino.
Really?
Or maybe a couple, etc. Then, of course, there are like cocktail bars which like care more about that category, and they might have more brands. Then we also have like vermouterie, so cocktail bars specialized only like in vermouth. So of course it's like a gintoneria, so like a gin place instead of gin you have vermouth. So you can.
So part of the project tonight is to show them that there's a difference in the different styles of vermouth that you can get, and using them makes a difference in.
Yes. So namely, we are going to during the seminar we are going to taste one brand of Vermouth di Torino extra dry, which can be good for a martini, maybe a dirty martini. Then we're going to have one brand of Vermouth di Torino white, which can be good in which cocktail?
For a white Negroni, for example, goes very well with tequila.
Okay.
Also just with soda water.
Okay.
Yeah, and finally we're going to taste from like 2, maybe 3 red vermouth di Torino, so that you can understand that all red vermouth di Torino are the same, but they taste different, also the color, etc., etc. And then at the end of the seminar, you can have the possibility to taste all the bottles we have here, so you can, discover more like on your own. And of course, everything will be paired with the food products, which are Pecorino Toscano cheese.
Yeah.
We're going to have like the aged version, and then we're going to have olives from Greece. So we will have like the classic olives, but then we also have like other more like creative versions. So the one with the almond inside, the one with feta inside, the grilled one. So just to make you understand that, olives in Greece are a huge thing. We visited Greece last year with an incoming group, and I was like personally amazed that there were 50 plus different sizes, from the really small one to the jumbo mammoth one. Yeah. So it's another world, completely different world. And of course, we are going to have also the lemon from the Amalfi Coast. You will smell the unique scent, and you can actually eat the whole fruit.
The skin as well.
Also the skin.
So I didn't know about, we were mentioning the Amalfi Coast, and forgive me, but you guys obviously know these are great lemons. I don't know this. We're learning this. What makes these so coveted? Is it...
You're going to see the pictures later, but imagine
when you think Amalfi Coast and what the scenery is along that coast and the beauty and everything, is it a combination of, the land and the sea and just the way the lemons can be produced, or is it...
100%. So basically, Amalfi Coast is, imagine big steps, right? That goes from the mountain to the sea. And the lemon trees, olive oil, tomato trees, they're all growing into those big steps. And that's why the farmers are actually called the flying farmers, because they're using a zip plane to
Oh, really?
to go down and back and grab all the fruit and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
The lemons are very special because it's a small production. It's controlled from A to Z. They're 100% organic. There is nothing added. They're super oily in terms of like as soon as you touch the lemon, you can see and smell and really feel the texture of the lemons. And most of the lemons inside is populated. It's the white part. So when you open a lemon, there is the pith.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? And that's completely edible. You can use the lemon in different sections. You can use the skin for perfumes, for aromatics, for limoncello. The white part is used as a digestive, actually.
Okay.
Just with a little bit of salt. And the pulp, you can eat it on your own, or you can juice it to do like a lemonade, stuff like this. But you can actually just buy the lemon as like an apple.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not
You don't
bitter.
do that.
They do in
Really?
Amalfi Coast, yeah.
Have you done that?
I have. And
Really?
when you do it in Amalfi Costa, it's all different experience.
Completely different.
That's
Absolutely.
interesting.
It's
Okay.
not as
And the
bitter as you
smell,
imagine.
the smell when you walk by those lemon trees.
I can only
it's
imagine.
amazing.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. A lot of folks who listen to the show know we talk a lot about wine. When we think lemons and we kind of use wine as the base for understanding what they're doing there with that designation, is it a PGI designation there?
Yeah.
With that designation, they're
Yeah,
doing
it's a
certain
PGI.
things. So the quality control, are they, we think about, the vines, we're making sure the fruit that's on there, we manage that so we don't, dilute the fruit that we have and we get a good product with the grapes. Do they do the same type of thing with lemons?
100%. They're all family owned. I think the most important things is like they're all small production. There are years that they are not produced just because that
Quality
maybe,
wasn't good enough.
the weather maybe was not good and there was no production. Like this is actually something that is ongoing with the producers of lemon from Amalfi Coast. Like I was there last year and I visited some of them, and you can still see the grandfather going to the trees and grab the lemons and
Yeah.
put it in baskets, put it in a zip plane and go. It's a small production, but it's a product that is completely
Wow.
unique. I think the beauty is like all the lemons are completely different than each other. There are big ones as my head. There are small ones.
Are they really that big?
They can be, yeah. There is a
Wow.
different categories. There is cedro. There are different type of lemons as well, but like the most important things is like they're using whoever is there.
Okay.
They don't just choose the best one, so the most beautiful one.
And lemons are great. I will say to folks who are listening that don't cook or eat or use lemons a lot, I mean, just some sliced lemons and a glass of water is a great thing. I mean, we do that a lot here in the States. I just always have to ask for extra lemons because I really like lemon in my water. But I think in food in general, the acid that you get from lemons, to finish off a fish dish or a shrimp dish and just the zest of a lemon on a lot of, I made some cannolis this weekend and put some lemon zest on them with the pistachio and stuff, and it's great. So.
And Rob, you mentioned before about the wine and the terroir, right? Like how different the same wine can be by growing from a different region, right?
Yeah.
Or different soil. Exactly the same things is like that's what we're trying to speak about it today.
Perfect.
Like lemons can be, they're called lemons, but they can be totally different from where the producers are. Or even in Amalfi Coast, from a different city, which is like 15 or 20 minutes away, it might taste different. Sorrento lemons are different from Amalfi lemons, right?
So that's a great point. I'm glad we're learning this, but is there? I don't know if this applies or not. When we go to the grocery store as Americans, we just buy lemons. I need 2 lemons, and you buy them. Do you see a point where these might be coming more into the States when we talk about that Mediterranean diet and getting quality products for that diet? Do you see the lemons and quality, olives and things like that, these cheeses? I'm already a big cheese fan, but these things coming in with more from these areas so that we can get the better products here in the States? Is that part of this project?
Yeah, we are here to
Promote
to
that.
create like awareness towards these products and also this concept. So we hope, to see also thanks to person like Valentino, it's about to open an aperitivo bar in Miami. So we really hope that thanks to this bartenders, restaurateurs, sommeliers, etc., we can create and foster awareness towards these products.
Awesome. Okay. So tonight, how are we using the lemons? Do you guys have some ideas on what we're doing with that?
So we are just going to like taste the zest.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like they are not available in the States because, as Valentino said, they're so fresh, so organic that they cannot go through the customs. So in big boxes, etc. So hopefully through these projects, they will be available anytime soon. So we are going to we will just see a lemon and try the zest. And if you want, I can keep a wedge just for you so that you can eat the whole thing.
So if I can add something to this. To this conversation, and going back to the importance of PGI, PDO, DOCU, DOCG when it comes to wine and all that, I think the take we want to have today from that legislation, European legislation, is that the effort is not only to protect the quality of the product, which is a lot of it, but also really point out to the consumer that those products are from that specific area, meaning please appreciate not only the quality control and everything, but the efforts and the traditions that all the makers of those different products have been doing for decades, if not centuries, to have that product in that specific way. The fact that Vermouth di Torino, for instance, may be done only with Piedmontese wines, if I'm not wrong, and those specific herbs grown and harvested in Piedmont, is not only because they are snobby, I don't want anything from, France or anything else, but that's the specific of the terroir, of the land, of the tradition and the culture of those people. You might like it or not. We're not questioning that.
It shows an example of that place.
Exactly. And going a step forward, how we having all these products, different products in the market in the U.S., not as much, to be honest, as an Italian living here for more than a decade. You struggle to find the specific gourmet products here for many different reasons. And the thing is that the palate you develop here, probably as an American, you grew up here without having exposure to all these different things. It's so average and so flat, even with produce or cheeses. And when you taste something that different, you might even be able to appreciate it because it's so different, so unique, that only when your palate is educated to the acquired taste of something different. You mentioned, I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy lemons. All the lemons are a couple of kinds of lemons in grocery stores here, but there's so many other lemons. You're accustomed to the specific taste of lemon. If you tasted the lemon from a mouth, you might even think, if you did a blind test, this is not even a lemon, it's probably a cedar or something different.
Really?
So the PDI and all those legislation, they're trying to bring here the variety of taste at the end of the day that comes from overseas.
And I think that's a great
I don't know
point.
if I made my point.
No, absolutely. And I think that's a great point that you made. And I think you're talking about the palate and how there would be this adjustment to, appreciating these flavors, because at first it's going to be kind of like a big shock to you. Wait,
but this is not cheese for me. This is not lemon for me.
Exactly.
Right.
And to me, I would, kind of give the example of somebody who drinks whiskey. If you get into bourbon, let's just say for the first time, all you taste is alcohol, and you're like, this isn't good. But it takes a while for your palate to get used to it. You get past the alcohol,
and all the other.
And now you start getting
the layers,
these vanilla and cherry and whatever's in there. Yeah, so I can absolutely appreciate that. And I'm excited as a foodie kind of guy to get more of your products here because I love the Italian cuisine. And people hear that. It's not just pizza and pasta. There's just so many great foods from southern to northern Italy that people should be exploring, whether it's risotto.
The mission of the chamber that I represent today here is engaging people like you that can be also, a voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
To spread the word to your followers, your listeners, and your friends, your environmental people, that things can be seen from a different point of view. Absolutely. I can only imagine the effect of this project in El Paso in a few months. This is another thing. We are doing this again in October in El Paso. We're already thinking about mixing vermouth with tequila or mezcal. And Valentino promised.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's fun too.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
us in the industry.
Yeah, and I keep thinking about the products because I think about when I look for Parmesan cheese. I mean, I want quality. I want good Parmesan. And America has made their version of a Parmesan cheese.
Yes, which is called Parmesan, not
Yeah,
Parmesan,
it's
right?
not Parmesan Reggiano.
Indeed, indeed. It's a totally
Yeah.
different product. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I do want to mention before we wrap up here, you had brought it up just a moment ago, the European Union, and that they're partnering with you. And I know that you're in the last year of this project, but talk a little bit about the first 2 years and the success you've had, where you've went. Are you finishing in the States? Where are you finishing the project?
So we're going, as Maurizio mentioned, in October we're going to be in El Paso. Then we're going to hit another city. It might be either like Los Angeles or San Francisco, or maybe also Dallas. We have.
But I mean, is the last year all in the States, or are you going to other countries still?
No. So the project is a 3 years project, and it targets 3 countries, which are the UK, USA, and Canada.
Okay.
So in the past 3 years, 2 years and a half, I've been traveling around these 3 countries, promoting and creating events. So the first year we did our first seminar in the US in New York. Then last year we were in Miami with Valentino. Then we went to New York again. We participated to Bar Convent Brooklyn, which is a huge mixology fair.
Yeah.
Last year and also this year. In fact, I'm coming from New York. And then we did 2 restaurant weeks. Last year in New York with 10 participating restaurants, and this year in Miami. So these restaurants received a free stock, and they had to create their own interpretation of the Mediterranean Aperitivo. So we had restaurants creating, of course, cocktails with vermouth, maybe a Vermouth di Torino spritz, pizza with pecorino olives, just charcuterie platters, etc.
Yeah.
So it was also fun to see how these restaurants. Of course, we had a couple of Italian restaurants, but the majority was Spanish, Portuguese, or American, and I really appreciated the fact that they understood the products and the concept.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a step forward. In creating awareness. And then we do I organize the same things in Canada and the UK. So
I'm surprised with the UK. You have to get them. I figured they'd be all over the Italian products, but they're not as much as I thought.
I can see. There is a huge bartending community, especially in London. Many of the bartenders are Italian, but we're doing
awesome.
really well in the UK, and so this year I will spend something like a month in London in July.
Oh, that's
and
too
then
bad.
we are going to we are going to Birmingham and Manchester during fall.
You want me to go for you?
I like London.
Yeah.
It's for cocktails. It's the capital of cocktails.
Yeah, it'll be cooler than Houston.
I know.
So the relationship with the European Union, is this something that the consortium said, hey, we want to do this, and then they reached out to the European?
Yes,
Okay.
of course they want. You have to create this project. A project a draft of the project. Say, okay, this is our idea. This is how we want to promote these products. Of course, if you present a project with ingredients with a lot high level of cholesterol, fat, etc. Maybe a really strong alcoholic beverage. The European Union might say no, it's not that healthy. It's against our policies. So but this project is it's top.
It met all their guidelines. They want to support things like this. So that's awesome.
That's a cool project, and of course, it was embraced by the European Union.
So here's the final tough question. Obviously, we can go to a bar, and some of the cocktails that we just talked about, spritzers, things like this, we can ask for, and hopefully should have a good possibility of getting those made. But for the lemons and the olives and the cheeses, and not just those products, but other products from the Mediterranean region that you guys are so well known for, are there specialty shops? Are there places that here in the States we can find these things right now? Just got to look a little.
Yeah. So, for example, when I was in Miami, I found this local distributor of Greek products, and I purchased like the olives from him. And the same, like here in Houston, there is a specialty like shop specializing in Greek products. So like all between like the 4 products, olives from Greece are like easier to get. Because I mean they are like distributed almost worldwide, and there's also, as I said, there are like different typologies from like the Kalamata ones to the stuffed one with the jalapeno, etc.
Yeah.
So different varieties. Pecorino cheese from Tuscany, yes, is you can find it almost everywhere. We found it in Miami, in London, of course, it's available. Also in Toronto, Canada. Lemon, like in the UK, yes, it's available. In the US, we are working. The same
Just
in Canada.
Keep it in their mind that keep looking for it, keep asking. The more consumers ask for something from their grocery stores and things, they got to start listening. They got to start going, hey, everybody's asking for these.
Yeah, and of course, Vermouth di Torino, it's available. So it's also growing in the statistics, etc. They witnessed an increase in demand for Vermouth di Torino and availability on the market.
And we're lucky here in Houston that we do have some good kind of specialty shops, some Italian stores and some Greek stores and things like that, Mediterranean stores, that we hopefully can find some of these things. But the point would be is go look and ask, and if you can't find it, just keep asking until they bring it in, because these are some great products. And to your point, Maurizio, you should go explore what the quality should be. We hear these names sometimes, and sometimes we don't get that quality. To your point of these places that have been doing it for so long, putting out quality products. As a consumer, as somebody who loves food and wine, you want the best example of those things. And so
that is correct.
We want to try these things.
I do agree.
Yeah.
And we are lucky enough in Houston. We can find almost everything. Not a lot of a variety of everything, but we can find mainly everything.
Well, I appreciate you all coming on and
thank you.
Talking about what you all are doing with this project. I was very curious, and I obviously learned a lot. The most important thing is that aperitivo just means happy hour. Go figure. I never knew that. I thought it was a specific type of drink. So that's my big takeaway from today is that I can say I'm having an aperitivo, and my wife thinks I'm doing something good because I'm drinking something I should be, but I'm just going to have a happy hour.
Yes, be
Unless
happy.
she listens
Anyways,
to this.
be happy if you can. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for coming on. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.